Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Addict by Week podcast, where we talk about perspectives, reviews, news, and everything of that nature. I'm your host, Eric Wichaksano, and I'm joined today by one of my good friends, Hani.
Hello.
Welcome to the Addict. First time.
I feel at home right here.
Yep.
Feel at home.
We're going to talk about culture dysphoria today and what causes it, our personal experience that we're going to share, and what we've done since to kind of break that mold. First and foremost, how you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. I've been going through a lot of things that really make me question how much of a lens I've been putting on things, to be honest. And it's really been incredible. Like, a lot of things are becoming clear to me. A lot of things have been, I don't know, it's a good push.
So if y'all don't know, Hani is actually also a member of our other podcast.
Shout out
to No Authority Podcast. Great name.
I mean, what a name. The No Authority.
Before we go any further, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, even YouTube, or wherever.
We're everywhere, guys.
We're everywhere. And you can follow us on Twitter and Insta at The Addict by Wick. It's usually my meme page dump. I just found this
spam
podcast page.
Yeah, am I on the right page right now?
You can send us questions, feedback, topic suggestions.
Feedback's always welcome, guys.
Yes, sir.
Always welcome.
Or just say hi to me.
That works too.
What is cultural dysphoria? It's the dissonance between social expectation for someone with broad culture or identity and their desired embodiment of that culture, or kind of uncertainty about where they fit into some of these cultural categories. Categories.
Yeah. Close. I think the definition you just gave is pretty good. It covers up a lot of things that one would experience with cultural dysphoria. I think it's also one thing that people like to paint, and maybe it's not cultural dysphoria, maybe it's just the way I am. Yep. But it's not. We tend to forget how much our culture influences us and how much our upbringing in one place can influence us to think and completely see things in a different way. And have you think that it's just you're different.
So the common reaction to this is some distress, like anxiety, depression, feeling that your culture feels wrong to you, that you're alienated.
That you're an imposter sometimes.
So what do you think caused this?
What do I think causes cultural dysphoria? Not feeling like you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
I think one example that I could personally say from experience is moving around a lot. And not having a place to like where you're rooted in, and always just having to make quick relationships, make quick friendships, make quick, just everything is quick and you know that it's going to end someday. It's very unsettling, to be honest. Like it could really give you that anxiety of not having a certain place to belong to, not having
like that sense of belonging is not there.
Yeah. You don't feel rooted anywhere.
And I think what causes this as well is if someone's bicultural. I have a friend who is Mexican, and he went to a school that was predominantly white. His parents were both Mexican. He's Mexican, but he does not speak any Spanish, or his parents didn't teach him any Spanish.
Yeah.
So growing up, he was confused if he was an American or is he Mexican. And when he does try to kind of want to be assimilated to his own culture, he gets
looked down on. I would say a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel that.
And another one's also, if you were told to suppress your own culture, say.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Moving to another country, that country isn't as welcoming to you, to your people, to your culture, like. Because at one point, yes, you grew up looking around you, and it's just
people that are just like you, people that understand what you mean when you say this is this.
Yep.
And then you come to this completely different place, and your sense of like how I'm going to express myself, what things mean, to a foreign ear that might sound a little like something I might say might sound a little maybe aggressive or maybe too loving or too whatever it is. And it's just, I think one of the biggest things is having this confusion about how you're going to express yourself in these two different cultures.
That will eventually kind of...
That has to collide somewhere.
Exactly.
That has to collide somewhere.
So, do you have any personal experience that you would like to share?
Yeah, well, obviously I think the biggest thing I could mention in light of like where I'm living now, for example, and the things I could look at most recently as most fresh having happened is it's not really a specific experience that I've had. It's mainly a running occurrence, and it's maybe like a running theme, I think, in my life.
Yep.
And I'm kind of grateful for it. I'm not gonna lie. Like you do get some benefits, but not take a wide tangent here. One of the biggest things I would say, like I struggle with in terms of identity when it comes to culture is, for example, being back in Jordan. This is one of my experiences. Every summer, I'm treated like I don't know, if I don't put on this very Jordanian facade, like if I don't put on this personality where I'm like not an outsider, where I really have been around in Jordan and act like I know everything about the country just so I don't get scammed.
Yep.
I'm seen, if it's not that, I'm seen as like a little bit spoiled sometimes, because like, yeah, you come back here and
you live outside of the
you
country.
live outside of the country. Yep. Like, even when they talk to you about some experiences, they can completely downplay what your experiences were simply because, yeah, like, you wouldn't really understand it because you don't live here.
Yep.
But that's also the case in Qatar. Like, when I was in Qatar, I come from a pretty traditional family, and obviously Qatar is Middle Eastern, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But when I came here then, it was these two countries that I didn't feel like I belonged to. And now I feel like I belong to both of them just because I don't feel like I belong here.
Yep. Because here you're not Dutch enough.
I'm not Dutch
right?
enough.
You don't feel like you're Dutch enough to
Yeah. And here I'm like considered more Arab than I.
Yep.
I mean, I love being Arab. I love the whole thing of being Arab. But here I'm considered a lot more Arab than people back home would think I am.
Exactly.
People back home think I'm not Arab at all. Like, I'm very whitewashed and very westernized.
Yep.
So you get a little confused. Like, it shakes you.
Similar with me. My personal experience growing up in America, I also went to school which was predominantly Caucasian. It was a Catholic school. And they would make fun of me for being Southeast Asian, for being Indonesian. And naturally, for a 15-year-old, I would try to do anything to fit in, you know? And that started with...
Yeah, we want to get to that in a bit.
Yeah, and that started with changing my accent. I have pretty much a Midwestern American accent because I'm from Midwestern Michigan.
Yeah.
Love the place.
Shout out Michigan, East Lansing.
Shout out Michigan, East Lansing.
Shout out.
But, you know, there wasn't any Indonesians there that grew up with me. In my school, there were Chinese international students, Korean international students. But international students tend to just be with themselves.
Find their own niche.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's no other Indonesian that was my age. And by the time I was 17, I was convinced I was Caucasian. I have an American accent. I dress like a white dude.
Start seeing your own people as like foreigners.
Yeah. So I'm like surrounded with my friends. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like I'm one of them. But then there will be occurrences where like I'm reminded like, okay, I'm not one of them. And that's like when I start to realize, what is this confusion? Who am I?
And it's you having these friends that you're with a certain way, and it's always like grounding, coming back to your ethnic house. You know, I mean, I like to think my parents are a little bit open-minded. It's not really that bad, but I understand like how I remember feeling so grounded when I got back and like remembering who this person was.
Yep.
Who this person was. So suppression of personalities, I think, is a pretty big thing that you get in cultural dysphoria. Like, you feel like you have to suppress certain aspects of your personality when you're in this culture, and different aspects of your personality when you're in this one.
Yep.
And you lose touch with who you actually are.
My parents were all back home. My family were all back in Indonesia when I lived in America.
Yeah.
I lived with my grandparents, who were both Caucasian. So I don't really have something to kind of like go home to and be reminded that like, hey, you're this Indonesian boy.
Yeah.
You know? And it's not till I moved to Amsterdam that I realized this is fucking stupid. You know, when I was here, I meet a lot more people who are from different backgrounds, and I just see how proud they are where they came from. I see more people who are just proud of who they are, proud of speaking their own language, proud of their food, their own tradition.
Confident in who they are as that person.
Like, they bring it. It's like, hey, yes, I'm this person from this place.
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is my identity. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh shit, I don't want to be known as an American kid.
Yeah. Oh, that. Oh, you like baseball?
Oh, okay, fuck out. Don't touch baseball on this. But you know what I
you.
mean? Like, I don't want to be known as the American kid.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the biggest things is teach my friends about Indonesian culture,
Same. Big time.
right?
Big time.
Like, I'm so proud. It's like, okay, yes, this is our food. This is our traditional dances. Like,
That's great, though. I think that's great.
exactly. And
I
that was,
think that's amazing.
but the thing is, Indonesian culture isn't fully welcoming who I am as a person. They don't welcome that. There's still too much judgment about someone's sexual orientation, their skin color, religion, all that. And I don't want to sound condescending, but that's beneath me.
I think there's no shame in saying something like that. You, as Eric, have experienced some things. Actually, most of your life, you've experienced things that most of these people that completely don't understand will obviously look down upon, because it's easier for them to put this meaning of you being a foreigner in their country than them to just think that, yeah, he's different because he's just been able to express this differently because of different cultures.
And that was one of the factors that just made me distance myself from being Indonesian in the first place. For example, being back home, if you have darker skin, you will get looked frowned upon, because there's still this like weird fascination about East Asian beauty, like Japanese, South Korean.
Yeah, that white cream bullshit.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, here, buy a cream to bleach your skin and like
It's
chemically burn
completely
it.
socially acceptable to bleach your skin.
Bro, we're Indonesian. We have brown skin for a
Chill,
reason.
yeah.
Okay, I lived in a Western country. People here would literally go outside, fry their skin, get red as a lobster, just to be tanner.
Yeah.
And when I go home, people were looking at me because I was tanning outside. Like, oh, what are you doing? I want to get darker skin. It's like, oh, why? That's
You
gonna
already
look so
have dark
bad.
skin, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
You get golden though, I'm not gonna lie. You don't even get brown, you get golden,
Yeah,
bro.
golden, bro.
Got that golden
And that's
gradually.
everyone back home.
Point I did want to bring up was cherry picking from both cultures. Big time. Like, I feel, even right now, I feel like I am, with what we just said about cooking for our friends, for example.
Yep.
Like, I really enjoy that. I enjoy the cuisine. I enjoy exploring, like, meanings behind why this dish is the way it is. And, like you said, with as proud as I am of this, of my culture, there are a lot of things of your own culture that you don't want to be associated with. I don't want to be associated with extremely traditional rules when it comes to like marriage, for example. I think a lot of it stems from collectivism and individualism. Like, you get, for example, you live in a Western countries mainly have this individualistic view on things where you do things for yourself. You do things for, like, if I want to do this, I do this. But the thing is, like, you get in Asian countries, and in your case, East Asian countries, in my case, Southeast Asian countries, my bad, ignorance out.
It's okay.
Middle East, you get like this collectivism where you do things for the general good of your family, for example. Or your people. You know what I mean? So this breeds different moral values. This breeds different ways of how you even interact with people,
how you carry yourself,
how you interact, how you express yourself. So a lot of it gets very, very mushy at times. But I do think that we have something, this obviously goes for everybody that's listening to this and agree with what we just said, or see a little bit of themselves in like these problems that you would have when you live in two cultures. I think it's a good thing. I think soon enough, everybody's going to be like that.
Yeah.
Unless you live in like a village somewhere and you grow up there and you just choose to work there. It's these differences that are very, very deeply embedded in us that it's our responsibility to choose, I guess. What we want to take from that, what is good from that, and what is something that we don't want our kids to have. Basically.
And that's the last talking point I want to bring up as well. Just take the good things you can from your culture.
Exactly.
You don't have to keep all that. I'm not going to.
You're not less of an Indonesian if you don't agree with some things that Indonesians might think is culturally normal.
Yeah, because the culture itself removed some
conservatism.
Thank you.
I'm not even sure if that's the word. But
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
We have hundreds, not thousands, of traditional food, dances, clothing,
the language, the music. If you keep I think one thing that holds true in all of my experiences with I don't know, the infinitely different people that I'm gonna meet in the future and have met so far is that we're all very similar, like deep down. In essence, like we're all the same. We all want the same things in life. We all want the same fulfillment. Maybe not out of the same things, but we all do seek that fulfillment out of something. We want love. We want good, fulfilling relationships in our life.
And that sense of belonging, like we said earlier.
That sense of belonging, that's what it is, yeah.
Shall I close this then?
Let's do it. Let's do it, yeah.
This has been another episode of the Attic by Wig podcast. Thank you guys for listening.
Great talk.
And Hani, of course, thank you for letting me take your time.
Always a pleasure.
If you guys ever had like similar experience or something to add, do hit us up. Let me know.
I'm actually interested to hear about this.
Yeah, we want to hear your story because...
Tell us how you felt most out of place and why you felt most out of place. And maybe tell us what's worked for you in that kind of thing.
Also, speaking of culture dysphoria, do you eat rice with spoon or fork?
Spoon. I think whoever eats it with a fork. I like rice with a fork sometimes. Like if I'm feeling a little, I don't want to eat too much right now, I want to get full pretty quick, it's that fork. Or if I'm too lazy to get a spoon.
Okay.
Or to push the rice onto the spoon. When I was back home and it would be like a celebration and it's like tradition to eat with our hands.
Bro, hands is just...
I used to be against it for the longest time.
Wow.
That's one big thing. I felt like, oh, maybe I am actually spoiled. But then I used my hands. I've never gotten a better bite.
The bacteria in your hand makes the food slaps better.
It's a seasoning. It's extra seasoning.
Yes, sir.
Give me that extra sweat.
Well, okay, of course, you can listen to us on
or not
on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, all that, wherever you listen.
We got you.
Yep, and hit us up on our socials, still at the Attic by Wick. And I've been your host, Eric Jackson, and for my guest, Hani, we're signing off. See y'all next time.
Dewey.
Thank you. That's a wrap. Before I beg you guys to download and share this podcast, I want to talk about my Patreon. So by using Patreon, you can support me and support this podcast. This is just another reason for me to keep pumping out, hopefully, quality content for you guys to listen to. And, you know, I do have some goals. Like if I reach a certain amount of patrons, I want to upgrade our equipment here in the studio. And if you can't, that's okay too. I am so thankful to have you guys even want to listen to me and my friends babble about things that run through my head. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Bye.